Hi everyone. Today I'm back with more flowers and I decided to paint red carnations. I'll show again my setup at the end. I'm still working on how the best to show it, but maybe I'll make the video where I'll just put like a little thumbnail in somewhere in the corner, but I'm not sure yet. So at this point I'll continue with my current setup, and as you can see I changed it. I added palette. I'm not sure how much you can see, it's vertical, so I'll see how it works. I tried to put not too many paints and like small amounts so they wouldn't run off, so I'll see how it works. So today I'm painting red carnations in a green bottle, so I pre-drafted. I have about 5 carnations, so I kind of did a very simple setup, and I pre-toned with transparent red oxide, and I also did my contour drawing with it. So I'll walk you through my paints. I hope you see it. So they're not exactly in the right order on this panel because it's just a very small palette, but I will walk you like this. So it's yellow ochre, cadmium yellow light, and I had a little bit of lemon light left, cadmium yellow deep, cadmium red light, alizarin crimson, and I'll squeeze more as I need. I added additional color. I thought I may need in cooler areas permanent rose, ultramarine blue, viridian, terra rosa. Again, I didn't squeeze too much, I may do more. These are 2 browns, I think it's transparent brown, and some of the siennas, or I think it's burnt umber, so they're pretty similar color. I was comparing them. Transparent red oxide, that's the one I pre-drew. It's a very transparent color, but it's also very bright, so just have to be very careful and use it sparingly, but it goes well in mixtures. This is my whites. Again, I tried to squeeze them very flat so they wouldn't run on me. And this is a Prussian blue. I added it because I thought I may use it in my background, because my background is slightly cool olive color, and in mixtures with browns it will work well. And also I was thinking maybe I should add more terra rosa at this point, but I found it a little bit runny, so I'll see if I need it more. Just a little bit more maybe. Yeah, hopefully. And then I have all my paints on hand just in case I need. I was thinking maybe I will need some warmer green. It's called green gold or olive or yellow green color, and then also I have cadmium scarlet. Sometimes it works nice with red flowers. So I will dip my brush into my thinner, and as you can see I need a lot of thinner on this palette to start going. Yeah, so, and also I'm washing my brush and my thinner as well. So I'll start from the darkest areas of my flowers. So I'll mix some, just a little bit of alizarin and ultramarine, maybe a little bit of brown as well, a little bit more alizarin. So at this point I'm doing thin, especially that I work in the shadows. I just want to put enough paint to see how it goes. So using these in this shadow flower, maybe it's even dark, but I can always bring dark back to light rather than other way around. And I'm just only doing big shapes and squint. There's a little bit of that shadow here as well on this flower. The light goes from this side, from the window, so there is a carnation here. So when I see this color somewhere else, I apply this shadow straight somewhere else as well. So this way all my shadows will be covered, and then I'll go lighter in areas where I need. So I'm squinting and doing this, trying to go warm. It's a cool light, so it's a light from the window. So a little bit more red. Actually, I'm adding a little bit of cadmium red light to this flower. So I'm going to clean my brush and go with slightly neutral, still neutral, not very bright, but slightly lighter color, so because I can always go with the rest later, like I said, put on top of it. So I'm going put more, a little bit more. There is one petal here at the back. Petals here, but again they're kind of in the shade because this carnation covers the other one. So I'm going to use a little bit of terra rosa and red, just a touch in the middle of this one. Actually, I still need darker value, though, just a little at the back. Will be lighter petals here later, but right now I'm just trying to make sure my values are right. So on this flower I have a little bit light in these petals, just a tiny bit lighter here, and then I will, with smaller brush, I'll of course go through the all the petals that have more light on them, so just a little more here. And I go again with neutral red color. So one petal here, one petal light here, some petals here. And now I'm going to do my bottle. So I'm going to use some green color and some brown color and some maybe yellow ochre for my dark parts of the bottle. Just trying to squint and see how dark or how light it is. Try to find a good neutral color for it. Let me try, because there is a material at the back as well, so I probably will be going straight for material and I squint, so I need more of my medium. It's too dark, so I'll try to use more yellow ochre and more brown and maybe a touch of white in it. Try not to use too much white, but if it's thin it's okay. So this is the olive color I have at the background. This is the darkest part of my bottle, but because I have a tabletop, it's kind of lightens here in this area. So it's lighter here. Maybe got the other dip. more brown where the actual bottle is, because it's kind of warmer color. So I'm kind of playing with the different variations to see what works best. And then I know it's dark all through this area, and I'll add lights later. So I have more brown on this side, and it's much lighter and cooler on this side. So I'm going to a little bit carving around. Because as my material falls, it's kind of darker and lighter in some places. So there is a darker pattern here, but then there is a lighter pattern over there. So I'll do my greens for my, this is probably the lightest part of the material because it's closest to the light. Again, I'm kind of carving around the carnation. Trying to look for silhouette and contour. I have some grays from over there, so I just, the same cool grays, so I'll add those rather than mixing my leftover grays that I save. And I will do just a rough contour, because then I go with detailed ones. Right now I need to put my values and my other information while I can focus, because then I lose my focus and it's going to be not as easy. So I'm going to, this brown has some bits in it, so I have to kind of, the only problem was when you have some leftover paint, it starts getting some yellow ochre as well. So I try to do a variety of tones as I see. So a little bit lighter here. And I chose green and red. I thought it would be a very nice combination, especially that they're complementary colors. And the bottle actually is different colors, so I'll make it brighter later. It's just at this point I left it like this. So I'm adding a little bit of my gray to my palette. At the same time, it's getting now warmer in this area, so I'm adding a little bit of brown. I'll do my greens as well, so these two go together, and it's a little bit bigger, I realized. Yeah. And if I mix a little bit of green and red together, it's fine, because they're complementary colors and it's not a big problem. So I'm adding a little bit of brown. As I said, it's very strong color, this brown. Just tiny bit of it already makes a very brown color, so I have to tone it down again. So this kind of neutral color in the back where material is, not too dark, not too light, but it is relatively warm. Maybe too warm. Yeah, definitely need more yellow ochre to squeeze because I use it a lot on this one. I have to move my palette a tiny bit just to do this edge. Once I finish my background, I will move it back. And I really see it's very warm still, so I probably have to change it. Probably have to change it on this one. And it's much darker than flowers, so yeah, I'm going back with this color that I thought it's wrong. But when I compare, so everything works in comparison, obviously, in painting especially. So when I see that this color is much darker when I squint, and I know it's warmer, so even though in reality it's a little light, I have to kind of make it warmer and darker, otherwise it will not read with my flowers. So probably will squeeze some yellow ochre in a minute. Used a lot of it. Just going to through the other parts of the material, my fabric, not material, just to see where and what I need to do. Just put a little bit there, a little bit there. And I think this similar color actually on my tabletop while I'm there with it. My cast shadow from the bottle. So it goes here like this, maybe a little bit more brown. And then there is a light. That light goes through the cast shadow as well. And then tabletop. So I'm going to squeeze more of the yellow ochre at this point. So the paints that I use a lot, I use them from big tubes, like for example this one. It's better value for money, and then I can take them when they finish slightly bit. I can take them for plein air as well when I go out painting in nature. And also I need some I use baby wipes to wipe my hands. So it's really handy, and they're wet, and also sometimes I clean palette with them as well. So, and I use shop paper towels, blue ones, for wiping my brush when I paint. So where I was here continue from this pile. I might as well do what I need to do with that pile. Don't want to put too much paint at this stage, especially in background, but I just need to go through the main areas. I can, even if I leave a lot of paint, I can always move it, scrape it or move it. So I think there is kind of call it sky hole, even though it's not a sky hole, but it's areas that you can see through. Okay, I think my background more or less done. Really should use more of medium at this point, because so my tabletop is warmer and lighter. I'm going to use a little bit of yellow ochre and a little bit of transparent red oxide, but because it's a cool light and it's going from cool window, there is a lot of coolness in that, plus there is a reflected light kind of going from this fabric I'm using. So I'm going to, and it's really almost like gray, so I'm going to use a little bit of ultramarine, just give it a different blue. So cadmium, oh sorry, yellow ochre and ultramarine and some white, because I can see it's a gray wooden plank I'm using, but I can see that it's very, very cool, almost gray. So this is like a light from the bottle, and because it's goes like that plane goes further in space, like I don't have to do like clear separation of tabletop, just indicate a little, do soft touches, and then I will use in the places where it's the lightest, I'll use more lighter paint later once this one sets up, but for now I think I need to add more white actually to make it look a bit lighter and cooler. Yeah, and because it's also a bristle brush that I only do the initial block in, I can always go with my other brush later. This is more like a blocking in the initial stage, and I think at this point, once I do my carnations, oh, that's the wrong color, I think. Yeah, this is a viridian and this is brown, so I'm going to use it for darkest parts of carnation greens. So there are some going through here, I'll do them later with my other brush. Viridian is supposed to be a warmer green, but depending what you add to it, it can be greener, can be cooler, can be warmer. It's actually a nice color, nice green, I like it. It's not the cheapest green, I noticed, in comparison with lots of other greens, but you can work with it. So there are some leaves as well there. Again, I'll add them later. There is a lighter pot on this carnation, that very light, that I probably will use later with much brighter colors. So I'm putting my bristle brush away for now, and I'm going to use my softer brush now. So this kind of brush, and the brush I used before was this bristle brush. It's nice to scrub on linen. So I'm going to use my, thinking, should I start from bottle? Yeah, oh no, I will start from flowers, because I really want to. So I'm adding tiny bit of medium. So I'm using medium because this is a soft brush, and also you need to make sure you added enough paint on it so it would lay it well. So I'm going to go through my main carnation here. So there is a lighter petal here. And where I don't have enough light, I can always reserve myself ability to go even lighter, because this is supposed to be like lightest light out of all reds. What I may try is to add just tiny bit of white to this mixture and see. So I'm using cadmium red light and some of this permanent rose. So I think using this lemon and cadmium red light actually works a little better for my brightest. So I'm going to use more of that. I don't know what was there, but I think I mixed two yellows actually in there by accident. So just trying to lost this one. There was some shadow here. Trying to make some soft touches and watch for the lightest petals. Yeah, that's the wrong yellow I think I have. It's almost like orangey, but maybe at the back here. No. I think it's not the right color. So I'm using more medium, more red, and go from the other side of that yellow. Maybe a little bit of this. So there are some petals at the back that I see. The other thing to try to use is white and alizarin, because alizarin is transparent color, and a little touch of cod red light. Then I'm going to do just a little bit of petals for this one, because it's in the shade. Just lost some of my shadows here, so I'm going to reinforce them. You can always use your fingers for some smaller areas. So this palette and this brush, they don't work as easy as my glass palette. I like my glass palette because everything just glides on it. But it's okay. I'll just have to use a medium more often for this one. Make a nice red neutral color. So there are some petals here, but not too many light ones. This one kind of curls. don't forget to wipe my brush often, otherwise I will lose my brightest colors. So I will go back to this darker one and finish it there. So this way I'll cover around this one as well. You can hardly see this darker in the shadow carnation in terms of like light. It's not light at all, so it's only some petals in the light. So I'm trying to catch the ones that in the light. Try to use this again differently, so I'll just use a little bit of permanent rose and a little bit of white and just a touch of color red light. The good thing with green, you can just kind of merge it into it and leave it, because green and red go well together. Okay, so still not 100% sure if I should bring these ones a little lighter. Because it's a cooler light. This thing may work with even more white. Don't want to overdo it, but you never know. So I'll try this option. This petal, and I think I have a little bit more lemon here, so I'll try to use, rather than white, use I think it's called either lemon, yellow or cadmium, and then I can do more of the darker in here. Yeah, so my back carnation mostly dark. Do that quickly. Just kind of painting over what I already painted, just with a little bit of extra detail. Trying to watch for the biggest petals, especially in the dark, like you don't have to make them too obvious, so it wouldn't jump on the front plane. Again, you can use your finger. So that carnation is really done. I've spent more time on the carnation that I think the central one, so I will go back to it again. I think I lost some of my shadow in it, but because I kind of worked with it and I started looked at it too long, I want to leave it so I could come back to it. So I continue with carnation at the back, but at the same time it's kind of facing light more, but not too much. So I'm working on the petals for this one, only the one that I see the light falls on. Again, very subtle because it's at the back, so you don't want to go too much and overdo it. And only the one that you see. Actually, the fact that I put my still life a little bit further I think it helps in terms of not going for the details, and that's good, because I don't want too many details in my paintings, because I often get caught up in details, and like many painters I have this problem. So, and sometimes I don't know where to stop either, so I'm trying to work on what I think I should improve in my skills, so those are the things that I'm working on. So let me cover it a little here and here, trying to look for the bigger shapes. Okay, so the last carnation that I'm going to approach right now has actually lots of light in it, but it's very cool because it's closest to the light. I'm trying to make, I think, very light color. It's only in one place, so it's like lightest lights here, and the end of this petal a little bit, but not too much. Trying to not to overwork it, because it will be white, and I don't want white carnation. But actually I'm going to use this color in here now, that particular petal, yeah, because this cool light kind of falls on it. So I said it's good to reserve a little bit of light for your lightest petals. I think this petal goes this way. I just made it up. Actually, making up things is good, but again, not too much. Sometimes making too many things, it will not look natural, even though like you can always choose what you want to paint and what you don't want to paint in your flowers, which petals to choose. So like that's a good thing about painting flowers, you choose what you want to choose, what you paint. You can do this with portraits, or like pet portraits of people. So there is a little bit of gap here, so I'm going to cover around it again, so looking for the contour around. And like I said, these soft brushes, they're very, very light. I'm using already tabletop color in it and everything else. There are some petals there, but they're very soft. So I'm trying to use soft touches as well. And just slightly, not too much, just to go through these petals. I think that should be enough. There are some areas here. I can always work with background color if I need to, but I don't want to actually this also needs to be smaller. I don't want to spend lots of time on background and then my flowers will be left and forgotten. So the next thing I'm going to do some greens for the flowers. So I'm going back into my mixture where I had, so I'm using viridian and brown. I'll make a little bit more than I need, just to make sure I have a good layer of paint on my brush. So this one, I can really hardly see it, so I'm going with dark for now. So this one has more green and it's a little lighter, so I'm using yellow ochre for that. And carnations, they have very interesting, like shaped like almost like cone shaped stems under the flower, and then they have the actual stem, so the actual bud. So I'm going to use also a little bit of very light green with some white. I know it is very light, but that's how it's actually there. So once I go to the vase, this will be in harmony with the highlights on vase and other things. Yeah, so just put a touch of that to see how it will look. And then I can always go with dark here under here. More viridian, more yellow and more white. It looks cooler than I make it, so I'll do a little bit more viridian, just a tiny bit of yellow. Yeah, I think that's potentially the right color. So I'll keep playing with my stems. So I'm using viridian and brown and just try to make sure I don't forget about some leaves here as well. So there is some very light leaves. There's some here and here. And actually the greens on carnations are very cool, so I'll just try to make more of that cooler version with brown and green. My palette doesn't work with me. So I have to work on mixing more paint. I think my palette drinks my paint. That's what I notice. It just dissolves there. Hopefully I will get used to it and will be able to work with it. There's the option to try a glass palette on the side. That's another option that I was thinking about, and maybe it's a good option because I didn't expect this. I don't know why I put wooden, I didn't put glass. Something to think about. I have to make it very watery so it would work. So I'm going to use more green and more brown. make this shadow part and go through the stem again. I'll have to paint around it, actually, around the stem. And also try to make sure that I don't contaminate it with a lighter color. So there is green leaf going all the way around here through the stem. Unfortunately, I have a little bit here that I need to move. So I have to repaint this area. I'm kind of working back and forth on this, trying to get the right shape. I probably will have to go with a little bit smaller brush just to re-emphasize the green areas, the light green, so I can still go back to those. For now it will work. So I'm going to go with this green, yellow, brown color again, because this one is the lightest stem actually out of all. So I'm trying to put, and then it goes with darker areas. And I'm adding more white at this point. To maybe work on the bottle next, and then once I go through the bottle I can go back to flowers. And I need to check the time, so I'm doing full length, it's 49 minutes, but I may cut this video or I'll see how it goes. So I'm going with the warmer green here because it's a green, warmer area. I can see it's actually it is quite lighter. So I'm adding colored yellow deep to viridian and using this warmer green. So the light passing through this area. So but I need to make sure that I don't lose my original glass color. Again, working with my palette can be challenging. So this is a cooler part of the bottle, because that's where the highlight is going to be. And I'm going to use this color and a little bit of yellow ochre again as for my background to do the bottom here, because it is almost like blue. If I squint, I can see lots of blue in it. And then I can see a much lighter area here on the bottle, because it goes all the way to the light. And this is an area of the bottle that light hits the most, so I have to make sure I make it the lightest area. So kind of working on the neck of the bottle. And then there is this is the darkest part from what I can see as well in this area. And I kind of smooth this area slightly. I'll do a tabletop around it later. Right now I'm focusing on the bottle. So there is some light passing through on the right as well. There is, this probably is the right color. Yeah. Just slightly warmer. I think there is some warmth there. Not there. So let me just do some passing light. So that light is very light, and it's on the right side, so I'm just making this very light green mixture. So somewhere here. There's some light here, and then I also see some light here. And at the same time I will kind of shape around it. There is also a little bit light on the neck of the bottle. Do not want to lose it completely, so there is like light on the flower coming here. That's where the neck of the bottle. And I'm going with that cooler green again. And here you can see. Sorry, sometimes when I focus, I forget to talk. Oh, I start speaking so quietly that I need to start mumbling, and I need to make my voice more loud on the recording. So I'm sorry about that. So one thing I left till the last minute to put this lighter area that goes through the tabletop. So now I'm going to make even lighter color, yellow, green and white. to re-emphasize it. See more light here. And I want really to make this highlight area, because there is a highlight here and then there is highlight here, so from the window, and there is a little, I don't want to make too many highlights, but just make the area a little bit lighter. Not sure about shape of my bottle. I might have to rework it a little bit of orange here. But I think it's more or less there. I would say. So I just need to kind of, there is a darker area here on the bottle. I'm squinting now. There's darker gloss here, there's darker gloss here as well. It's kind of curves, and it's a little bit darker than the other area. Maybe it's because of the material, I'm not sure. Maybe just the way the glass works, just full of surprises. Just have to follow what you see, obviously. So I think I got all of the light. I'm just trying to put more light on the right side now. I got more light here. It's a little lighter. Yeah. So I'm going to squint and double check one more time. And now I'm going to put stems. So stems, I'm using the same kind of, but slightly even darker. The one that go through, using all my greens and browns just to get the right color. So the more stems are here, because there are some leaves and I packed them well. There are some stems there. They're hardly noticeable actually, so I'm not going to put too many stems, otherwise my bottle will be lost. I'm going to add some lighter color to it, some white, just kind of do highlight, maybe too light, too gray, but that should work for now. That should work for now, because I'm going to have a fresh look at it all again and see where I can improve it, what I can change. Normally I do it on the next day. So for example here, I'm just wondering, can I go a little lighter? And here where reflected light, can I go a little lighter as well? I think I can. I'll try to carve with tabletop right now because it's really bothering me. At the same time, I don't want to lose the shadow completely. Just this very blue-green color. So I'm going to add a little bit of brown and do under it. So probably have to correct the bottle shape, but I can sometimes it helps to take a photo of the painting and just look in the photo which shapes you got wrong. It very often helps with the looking what you got wrong, because I'm normally always find something. So I just did highlight on this bottle. Just going to trim it a little. Yeah, so I probably, once I go through my final checks on it, I probably will correct shape of the bottle, but for the purpose of this video I'm not going to mess with it, because otherwise I spent lots of time on it. All I'm going to do is just do this highlight a little more, and then I'll do the same here. It kind of streams down all the way down, and then I do the same on this part, just a little bit brighter. So I think I'm almost done. What I'm going to do after that, if this video is not too long, I'll post the full length. It's about an hour, and I hope you enjoyed it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the shapes of the flowers a little more. Maybe I'll go have a cup of tea, look at shadows, lights, and see where I can go darker, where I can go lighter, where I missed something. So it normally helps to refresh your eye a little, because I've been looking at this for a long time and I think it's more or less okay. The other thing what I do correction of shapes. For example, just now I noticed my carnation is too high here, so I'm going to work on that later. Maybe just make a little bit of adjustment here, and as you can see, because it's a kind of color harmony, I can use really any color to light, any brown or green to go with this adjustment. So I'm trying to go like this, clean my brush, and then go again and clean my brush, and then I'm going to use this fresh red color to kind of re-emphasize it a little. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I don't want to keep it too long, so I think it's sometimes gets a little bit boring when someone's standing and picking, looking at petals. So unless you're really interested in the whole process like I am, sometimes I watch videos of some artists I like. I can watch it even 2 hours, so I guess it depends on the person, but I can't paint for a long time myself. So I'm going to fix this little bit here as well, so I notice things as I look at it more, but I'm going to take a little break and I will show you the last thing that I always forget. I'm going to show my setup. So this is the actual painting and my palette. So I managed to do vertical palette and my red and green mixtures, and then this is a close captioning of the flowers and the bottle. Apparently this red goes quite well in harmony with the green, And now I'm going to show you my setup. These are my flowers. Here they are. Okay, so see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye.